Traffic, I'm Tracy Taylor.
With mostly cloudy skies and some scattered showers for your drive home, don't be too surprised if things are a little wet here and there. Then tomorrow, same thing, some scattered showers will go low to mid-60s. I'm KIRO-7 Pinpoint meteorologist Nick Allard.
It's 61 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
From Sammamish to South Lake Union, this is KIRO Radio 97.3 FM.
News and talk, powered by the Pacific Northwest.
All right, we're on Facebook Live, the Ron and Don Show on KIRO Radio. They're great partners, KIRO-7 and KIRO Radio. Partnered once again. We used to be owned by the same company. We aren't anymore. But boy, are we best friends. Clancy is here.
We don't want those radio people. Get them out of here.
What's that?
We don't want those radio people.
Yeah, we are second tier, and we're okay. We're okay.
I remember when we were together.
Yeah.
All in one happy building.
What? We were never around for that. Were we?
No, that was long before you guys. You guys were
Yeah.
probably still in elementary school or something.
Yeah. How are you doing? You're working on a story for KIRO-7 tonight, right?
Yeah, I'm working on a story, and it's basically about the issue that discarded needles, the health issues that they pose for the people who must clean them up. And we heard from some Starbucks baristas who were frustrated because in their particular store in North Seattle, 3 of them have been poked by intravenous needles that they were cleaning up while on the job. And so 3 in the past year is a pretty alarming number when you consider that they all 3 have had to take antivirals to prevent HIV and hepatitis.
And so this probably is going to loom large, especially for Starbucks, because they've made their new policy change. It's like anyone can use the bathroom at any time, which I actually took advantage of when I was out of town a while back. I just walked in, used the bathroom, walked out. But if this has got to be alarming for other folks.
Well, and we talked to Starbucks about that, and their third place policy is a very welcoming policy that anybody who wants, whether they buy something or not, can come in and use the bathroom, use the facilities. But there are still rules. And so the baristas told us ever since this went into effect in May, it has gotten worse. There are more needles inside the bathrooms and outside the cafes. But Starbucks said just because we have that policy doesn't mean people don't have to abide by the law. They still do.
So what kind of training is there for the protection of these baristas and these Starbucks workers?
The employees have been retrained as of 2017 because in 2016, the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries actually investigated Starbucks because of this issue of not providing employees with the proper training when it comes to dealing with hypodermic needles. And so Starbucks was investigated and fined. And as part of that investigation and its results, it agreed to retrain all of its employees on safe disposal of needles.
Yeah. So how are they supposed to do that? And did you go to Starbucks? Did you talk to employees? Did you see these needles? Do you have pictures?
We have a ton of pictures about what the employees are seeing. And even though they're trained in proper needle disposal and they have the tools that they need, some of the employees say, we would rather be out of that equation altogether. And so would you please put in locked disposal boxes inside the restrooms? There are other businesses that are following suit. There are many Seattle parks that have these locked needle disposal boxes. So they are asking that be something that Starbucks consider, because what it would do is if people want to discard their needles properly, put them in a place where nobody will ever have to touch them.
This can't just be, and Amy Clancy Jones is from KIRO-7, this can't just be a Starbucks thing.
It's not.
I've seen needles in QFC bathrooms. I've seen needles in Trader Joe bathrooms. I've seen needles in public library bathrooms. Evidently, I go to the bathroom a lot. This can't just be a Starbucks thing.
No, it's not. It's not just a Starbucks issue. And we're very clear about that in the story. It is, according to LNI, it's an issue that all businesses are dealing with. And since we started posting the promo for the story today on social media, we've heard from other business owners who say, this is exactly the reason why I do not allow the public to use my bathrooms. Yeah. They don't want the needles.
Here's what Starbucks doesn't want. And this happened at my neighborhood QFC. People would come in there and leave their needles. So they ended up shutting the bathroom. And they're like, okay, we can't shut the bathroom. And I went in and I talked to the gentleman that runs the store there, Ethan. He said, we're going to open the bathroom, but we're going to put up one of those boxes. But we're not going to say a lot about it because then people are going to think we're a safe injection site. And we don't need the headlines that QFC is a safe injection site. If you are sitting in a Starbucks, where my family is from, in Gurnee, Illinois, and you hear that these heroin safe needle boxes have gone up, people will lose their lunch. They will see that very differently than a place like liberal Seattle. And if Starbucks makes this decision to put these boxes in, which sounds to me like they should, it's going to create a lot of issues and a lot of headlines for them that they don't want, Amy. That's what I think.
You're absolutely right. But Starbucks, we had many conversations. I had many conversations with the spokesman for Starbucks over many days. He was very forthcoming about what Starbucks is willing and not willing to do. And at the end of our conversations, and we report on this tonight, he said, you know what? We are willing to explore that as a possibility in some of our high-risk cafes. So maybe not nationwide, maybe not in places where it would be perceived as the wrong thing to do, but perhaps in places where this has become an issue. And so the baristas that we talked to were thrilled to hear that Starbucks may consider it because as far as they were concerned, that was progress.
Do you know what the protocol would be if I worked for the CDC and I was alerted of contaminated needles? Would they wear like bulletproof gloves and a full hazmat suit, or like what would they do?
It's typically gloves and tongs, some sort of tool so that you do not have to handle it with your own hands. But here's where two of the baristas we spoke with had issues. They didn't know that the needles were hidden in the garbage. And so when they went to put the garbage out, the needles were sticking through the plastic bags. And one of them was stuck in the stomach and one of them was stuck in the leg. And so if you just perceive this to be normal garbage, you should always be careful, obviously. But their point is, we don't know what's in that garbage. And if it's not put in a locked box, we have no way of knowing where those needles are. And so that's their concern. The other one was poked because somebody had left a purse behind at the Starbucks. She reached in to find an ID so that purse could be returned to its owner. And when she reached into the purse, she was struck by a needle.
What kind of medical journey, then, does that send them on when they've been poked like that?
Very good question. All three of them had to be put on antiviral medications. They all have to have blood test after blood test to make sure that they have not contracted HIV, hepatitis C, hepatitis B. So they are still on the journey of making sure they did not contract something. The chances are probably pretty low. However, there are chances, and that's something that they're still very concerned about.
Yeah. Starbucks really wants to be a community leader, for instance, when it comes to giving back. But do they want to be a community leader when it comes to hypodermic needles? This is really tough, isn't it?
It's very tough. And you know what? When I was talking to the spokesperson, I said, look, I'm your biggest fan. I keep my Starbucks card loaded because I'm one of those people who works out in the public every single day. And I rely on the fact that I can go to Starbucks where it's warm, dry, I can get something to eat and drink and use the bathroom and the Wi-Fi. So I'm a huge fan. But I do believe these employees have a very good argument to make if they're the ones that are having to deal with it.
KIRO 7, I'm going to just assume that's on Channel 7.
It is on Channel 7.
Channel 7.
Very good assumption.
Amy Clancy. And does it bother you when people call you Clancy, or do you call
No,
yourself?
as a matter of fact, I love being called Clancy. Everybody in my family is called Clancy.
They are.
Yeah,
Nice.
and you know what? Even though it's my married name, I'm happy when people call me Clancy, and I know who they're talking
Even
to.
your daughter, people just call her Clancy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Clancy. We're just all used to it.
I like that. All right, when do you want people to watch, and what will they see tonight on KIRO 7 that we didn't talk about today?
I want people to watch every single day.
Right.
Come on. But it's going to be on tonight at 5:30.
5:30. We'll see you then. Thank
Yep,
you so much for
thank
stopping
you.
by the studios. We appreciate
My
you. all right?
pleasure.
If you want to see Amy live, watch her tonight on KIRO 7. You can also watch us right now on our Facebook feed. It's The Ron and Don Show on KIRO Radio. We'll check those cars next.